Hello, hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Makers Gonna Learn YouTube channel. My name is Tanner Bell, the founder here at makersgonnalearn.com, and I'm so excited to be here with you today because boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I've been quiet here on the YouTube channel, but the thing is, I've actually been training and equipping y'all so much. Like, it has been incredible what we've been doing over the past few days. So it's gonna be so good. So I'm going to share with you today the 3 ways that I think you're gonna be able to sell fast. There's a few common things that I sat down after getting to spend multiple hours with a lot of you. And I thought, okay, if I could leave people that are brand new with something to sell this year, if any of that, what would it be and what do those 3 things look like? So that's what we're gonna go over in today's live stream. I'm super excited. Let's go ahead and talk about the 3 ways to sell fast because I think you're gonna enjoy them, all right? I think they're for you. And again, I'm specifically talking to the people that need a little extra money in their pocket this time of year, whether it's the economy affecting them, whether it's this or that. You definitely may want to sell your crafts now more than ever. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. Number 1, and I wish I could just like talk to you one-on-one for this. So just imagine that you're sitting here in my office, we're on my couch, and we're building your business plan. All right, chances are you're someone that wants to make sure it's perfect, make sure everything's like set up the right way, make sure you know how to do 20 steps from now, and you're not even, taking action in the first 2 or 3 steps. You're worried about 20 steps from now, right? Has that ever been you? Have you ever thought like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if I get too many orders? What am I going to do? Like, how am I going to file my taxes? How am I going to do this? My friend, our brain is so amazing that if we just worry about the next 2 or 3 steps, when we're at step 6, we'll know how to achieve step 6, right? Like, because your brain will be like, oh my gosh, I have all this money, I need to go get an accountant, right? Like, we don't have to worry about it now because we haven't made the money. We've got to get you to make the money. So for number 1, I've simply laid it out. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way. And that simply is meaning you're going to stay focused on the 1, 2, 3 steps instead of trying to make sure everything's perfect and make sure you have everything outlined for step 20 to 30. All right? You can only focus on the next 2 to 3 steps. And if you are here and you're saying, Tanner, I am not sure what my first, second, third step is that I need to work on, you need to decide that for yourself. But spoiler alert, you are not a business until you are making money. As long as you are not making any money, you're just having a really expensive hobby, which is fine. I love my hobby crafters. If you're like, I have no idea, I have no reason to sell, but I'm just here hanging out because I love Tanner, y'all, you're so cool. Like, it's great. Like, I do this very rarely. We've done it quite a bit lately, just because the economy's here and people definitely need more help. So that's why I'm here. That's why we're talking about this, and it's so good. So if you're saying I need to make a website, I see 2 different people saying they need to make a website. Guess what? I got you. I have an 1.5 hour training inside Design Make Sell that you get access to immediately. If you sign up, you are going to get me, in the way that I teach everything, laying out to you how to build a site on Shopify, okay? How to build your Shopify store, how to think about building your Shopify store. And not only do we talk about it, we do it. So for an 1.5 hours, I show you, if I was building a shop in one day, what would I do? How would it look? What theme would I pick? How would I set it up? All of those questions that are just very hard to do if you've never built a website before, I do it with you. So you get that inside the program. We talk about setting up your products in there. We talk about laying the layout. I show you a theme to use. It's so good. Oh, this is a good question. Would it be too much to have an Etsy store and a Shopify site? No, my friend. If you are here and you're like, Tanner, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, I am with you, I'm picking up what you're sitting down, here's my dream for you. All right, I'm gonna lay you out my dream. Step number one, you're gonna get out of your comfort zone and you're gonna do what feels uncomfortable, which is put yourself out there. All right, that's sometimes getting out of your own way. Step number two is building your Etsy store, because after you sell local and you put yourself out there, people's gonna know you do this now, so they're gonna come to you, which is great. That's a stream of customers. Step number two, you're gonna open yourself up to something bigger than your database, your local friends and family, okay? That's gonna help you get credibility. Step number three, if you don't want to share your revenue with Etsy, if you want to build something more for yourself, then you can build your website. But here's the thing. If you don't have time for your own website, that's fine. Stay to Etsy. If you don't have time for Etsy, that's fine. Stay doing local, bigger orders. And of course, if you have time for all three, guess what? You'll have more opportunity to make more money, okay? So if you're like, I wanna go full time, I wanna do this, I wanna rock this, you can, but it takes steps, my friends. It takes steps to get you there, all right? So we had someone ask about pricing, and I love that question. And that's actually very similar to our second way to sell fast. So remember, the first step to selling fast is to get out of our own way, okay? You just wanna get out of your own way and you want to do what you actually can do today. You're not worried and using your energy to think about what will be happening 15 steps from now, okay? That's the first way, all right? Now we had someone say, do we have to have an LLC before we can set up an Etsy shop? So in Design Excel, we go over this thoroughly in the section of what you need to know about legally operating your business. That's a great training if you're in there. And as soon as you join, you can learn about that. But the short answer, no. You do not have to be an LLC to have an Etsy shop. You can be what we call a sole proprietor under your own social security number. So woohoo, I love it, I love it, I love it. I hope you guys are enjoying this because I love this, I think it's so cool. If you guys are new here, have no idea who I am, I'm Tanner Bell. I got started selling on Etsy in 2010. I couldn't even pronounce the word Etsy. I called it Esta or Etstia. It was insane. And truly believing in myself and betting on myself back then led me to where I am today. So you never know what will happen when you simply bet on yourself. Is that not crazy? I love it. I mean, who am I to have a YouTube channel? Who am I to own a property management company? I mean, right? It would never have happened if I didn't bet on myself in 2010 and said, who am I to sell my crafts online, right? Like, who are you? Like, we all show up and we ask ourselves that in almost every walk of life we are. But the fact of the matter is, if we have an urge, if we have a drawing, if we feel like the Lord's calling us there, there's a reason so that we can serve. And that might be you today. So, yay, I love it, love it, love it, love it. Yes, get out of your own way. All right, for way number two, this is way number two, if you're wanting to sell fast, here's what I want to talk to you for the ones that are held up on pricing. I started coaching some of you personally in the VIP group that I had. It was a one-time call. So in that group, a lot of you were struggling with pricing. I think a lot of us, especially when we are beginning and starting out, we think if I put the price on here and I say that this mug right here is $20, right? Like, I'm putting the price on my item, this $20 is the price, okay? So how many of you think once you set the price is always the price? Does anyone think the price is always the price? Because I think, personally, what a lot of you are getting held up on is this. When the price is the price, and it'll be the price until you quit. And what I want you to know in way number 2 is you want to price for what motivates you today. All right, I'm going to say that again. Price for what motivates you today. All right? So if we all can agree that, you know what? Pricing isn't permanent. So if I'm a beginner, I can price lower and make sure it still motivates me. But as I grow and as my business develops, I may say, you know what? I don't want to sell the mug at all. Mugs aren't for me. Mugs aren't for me. I want to sell t-shirts. So you can actually stop selling a product whenever you want. I give you permission. Stop selling something whenever you want. But for a lot of us, we need to get out of our own way. And after we're out of our own way, we don't need to worry about what our everyday, forever price will be either. We need to price something for what will motivate you to do a good job today. And what I see and what I feel is if you're not constantly developing and growing, then you will get stagnant. So it's okay to constantly develop and grow, and your price may increase throughout that. So I want you to go through and think about pricing for what motivates you today. And remember, it's really simple. I can teach you how actually to go online and, rip a tag off and put a new tag. You can write whatever number you want, right? Like, I love it. Now, Teresa says, I always give in to lowering the price when someone hesitates or acts like they won't buy it at that price. I'm my own worst enemy. Teresa, I love you so much. Thank you for being vulnerable there. What I love to share is that we, as a business owner, truly have to show up from a place of abundance, right? How many of us are here and we're like, oh my gosh, like I have to lower my price, or oh my gosh, they like pulled back, like they look uncomfortable. If you show up and say, hey, the price is $20, like it's no big deal, your customer will reciprocate and be like, oh, okay. But if you're like, it's $20, is that okay? They're like, you're giving them the thought that it's not okay. Chances are you could be the reason of the hesitation, right? If you are opening their mind to like, wait, is there something wrong with that? That's the hesitation. The process is never the hesitation, my friend. It's all about how you present it. I say that's the only price because if they really wanted it, they will buy it. Exactly. Your customer will buy it. And if not, let's say the worst case scenario, the customer does not buy it. Okay, there's another customer. You're going to find someone else. It would be better for us all to have a handful of customers that know, like, and trust us than trying to serve everyone. Because chances are we can't serve everyone, my friends. And that's just the fact. It stinks. My self-confidence is always low, and I question myself and my quality, even though I know I spend a lot of time on the details. My friend, I would recommend for you to write down all the facts, right? You are telling yourself that your self-confidence is low and that you question yourself and like your quality, but you know you spend a lot of time on the details. So what I would challenge you to do is to think about all the facts. So write down how much time you spent learning to craft. Estimate, okay? How many weekends, how many hours, okay? How much money you've invested in the craft. And start putting facts down to show yourself that you should be confident, to show yourself that they can invest in you, and to show yourself that you are worth it, right? Sometimes that you are needing it will be the best reason. Like, you can just look back and be like, oh yeah, snap yourself out of it. Snap yourself out of it. That's what it takes, right? Sometimes the facts, because our brain doesn't want to like really believe that, right? It's crazy. Let's talk about, before we dive into the third way, I actually want to address something with you all, okay? So this is something I'm learning about and trying to factualize for myself. And I thought, you know, if I'm having these thoughts, my students, my friends online may be having them too, okay? So let's talk about the economy. Let's talk about the R word, the recession, all right? Here's what I want to discuss. And if you're considering buying Design Make Sell, not buying Design Make Sell, selling your crafts, like it all kind of plays together, it's so good. I really want you to say, all right, we're in a recession. What can we do about it? I personally can't do anything about it, really, right now. Maybe if you can, we all, pretty much it's out of truly our control at the moment. So then let's say, okay, this is what I'm personally doing. How is the recession affecting me? Okay, and then the two things for me is, number one, my electric bill. I don't know about y'all, my electric bill is hot, like it's went up, okay? And number two, groceries. Okay, so all we are going to realize here is if it's electric and groceries is our problem, right? Like, that's for us personally. Each of this, someone else could say gas, someone else could say this. Let's put it down, let's write it down. And you can even put a number factor to it. Like, my electric bill may have went up like $70. Like, that's a big increase. Groceries may have went up, like $50 a week. That's a big increase. So, 70, 80, 90, 100, $120, roughly, right? Of the increase. And this is something I personally have been doing. This right here is the fact. This is a math problem, right? There's extra money going out. When everyone talks about the recession, when everyone talks about all of this negativity, they're adding drama to it. Okay, they're adding the drama. This is not necessarily drama problem. This is a math problem. So if we're spending more money than we normally are, what should we do about it? Should we let the drama and the negativity and the media loves to talk about negativity. That's what thrives, right? That's what thrives. So instead of worrying about the drama, let's take action and do something about it. Let's just fix our math problem so that we can sustain ourselves throughout an economic recession. What do y'all think? This is what I've been mentally and emotionally thinking about, because we all get emotional and we all start feeling like, oh my gosh, things are uneasy and whatnot. So that's what I just wanted to share, just totally off topic and off this. Let's make it a math problem and fix the problem for ourselves as much as what we can handle. And what I personally have also had to do is stay off of any media outlet, online, papers, things like that. So definitely think about it. And of course, yes, put our trust in the good Lord, who's already taken care of us and already has a beautiful plan written out for our life. But sometimes we get caught up in these day-to-day things. So anyway, that is number 2, price for what motivates you today. Then I totally added a random lesson about drama versus math in the recession. And number 3, know where you start isn't how you finish. All right? No, finish. And that's what I want you all to think about, right? Let's think about this. Getting out of your own way, you're just focused on what you can actually control and what you can control today, which is a beautiful piece of advice. Number 2, we're going to price for what motivates us today. But you need to know where you start is not how you finish. When I started, I was working in my basement. I'm still in my basement. I just have nice lights and nice cameras now, so it's a little different. But I was filming videos on a 2010 camera. Y'all, let me just show you. And I just want to let you all know I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. Y'all know that. I'm young. But this is how I started.
You're freaking crazy coming at you with
SD is what I called it, SD, okay? So how you start isn't how you're going to finish. So you just have to get started, right? I started on a webcam or a flip camera. It's not how you're gonna finish. So think about that. If you're unhappy with where your photography is today, know that that's something you wanna work on, but you're still going to take the picture and post it. Not liking where you're starting is not a good enough reason to not start, right? Right? Like, do we understand that we have to start somewhere to get to where we want to go, right? Like, that's what we want you to think about and start writing out your goals. You wouldn't believe how many people have goals and don't think about them, or how many people don't have goals and just are coasting. And that could be you today. That could be you. So if you're here and you're like, Tanner, I love crafting, I love watching your videos, maybe I should sell, right? Like, if you feel that, like, would that motivate you? A lot of our students in this program truly just sell so they can go to the craft store and shop guilt-free. Does that sound fun? Like, that's pretty cool. I love that. But if we don't post where we're at today, we're never going to improve. Where we're at today can be our baseline, and truly, if it's our baseline, it's only up from here, which I love. I've never heard anyone say, you know, I started and I stayed where I'm at, right? Like, we're constantly improving and working on ourselves, ideally. Like, that's what we should do, okay? Now, that's the 3. Get out of your own way. Price for what motivates you today. Know where you start isn't how you finish. All right? Are you ready for a bonus? I have a bonus if you want the bonus. How many of us here today are saying, I want to do this, but there's something in my way? Like, there's something, you know, I can't do this, you know, this or that, right? It's probably more drama, okay? What I want you to think about in our bonus today is I want you to leverage what you have, all right? Leverage what you have. So if you already have been crafting for a long time, that's leverage. If you are tech savvy, that's leverage. If you have connections to people that can help you get bulk orders, that's leverage, all right? If you're really struggling today, I want you to write out what leverage you have. And every single person here has leverage in a different way, and that's what's so beautiful. So, in addition to that, I want you to focus on what you do have and not what you don't have. All right, my friends? Focus on what you do have, not what you don't have. Maybe your leverage is a supportive family member or friend. They're like, oh my gosh, if my business takes off, that's who I'm going to ask to come help me and then not fulfill these orders. Like, think about these leverage opportunities. Or like, if I got an order for 100 t-shirts, who am I calling? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? That's what I want you to really think about. That's what I really, really want you to think about in that way. Yay! Oh my goodness. All right. Have an amazing day, my friends. Stay crafty. Have a great day, my friends. See you guys later. Bye. Well, guys, let's go ahead and dive right into the training. I'm going to head over to where we normally need to do craft training, but over the next week or two, you're going to see us in a whole other way where we're teaching a lot of you guys this secret sauce to what Lauren was saying earlier about selling, because some of us want to be able to sell our crafts for a few reasons. One, we may be able to want to have a guilt-free experience at the craft store. Do you know what I mean, Lauren? Like,
oh, absolutely.
I want to go to Hobby Lobby, spend a few $100s, get some stuff, and not have the guilt.
Yes, so even if it's just that, and you are not spending money on your supplies, and you get to maybe sell enough to where you can pay for supplies, and then you get to make the gifts for free for people. Or
such a great way. This can actually be a way that you get to serve others, and that is so good. The second person I like that this training is equipped for are people that want a true side hustle, and that means maybe I want to make $500 a month extra by getting consistent orders every single month. It doesn't have to be a ton of orders, but enough that I could tackle them in 2 to 3 Saturdays or late afternoons. customers. The third person that I've seen this programming work really well for is kind of twofold. One, someone that needs to replace their income, or B, someone that would like to supplement their retirement. They have a lot of time, but they want to add in another stream. This is actually something that could really, really work for you. So Sadie, if you're ready, let's go ahead and share the screen, and we're really going to dive in to what it takes to sell. And what we mean by that is taking your hobby and turning it into a successful business. I don't want you all to forget about this. We want to make sure you are being successful in whatever metric you prefer. All right, that is what we're all about here. But before we dive into it, in case you are brand new, my name is Tanner Bell, and I am the founder here at makersgonnalearn.com. Lauren is our co-host. She is one of our craft producers that is here helping serve each and every day. And we just love serving our Makers Gonna Learn community. The best part of why I am here to serve you and help realize if you are right to sell or not is because many, many years ago, I started my journey just like a lot of you love crafting, but want more. I want to be able to do this and dedicate more time to it. So what I want to encourage you to do right now is I want to make sure that you all are able to understand I was right there where you may be today. So what you're going to be able to see is that I started selling my crafts online. And that's what I loved. I was selling handmade card packs at Christmas time. I have so many stories I could share with you over how I got started at selling my crafts. But what I love to share is you never know where that will end up taking you. Did I ever think we would end up building this community of over 15, 16,000 amazing members that we serve day in and day out? No. But how it started was showing up for myself and believing that I could sell my crafts. So what I love for you guys to understand is that I've been right there with you, and I know what you're going through to even put yourself out there. So now that you know who we are a little bit better, let's go ahead and dive right in to what you need to be thinking about. First things first, we have some questions that I want you to start asking before you start selling, because I know there are friends here that's like, that's me all the way above, and it is so important for you guys to understand some of these questions. So if you're ready, if like Lauren said, you have your notebook out, make sure to have it so you can either A, write down these questions, but more importantly, as we chat about these, go ahead and start writing out your answers. If you don't have a notebook, I would love to see your responses here in the comments, because that's a great way to hold yourself accountable to an amazing group of like-minded people. So question number one, will people really pay me for my crafts? This is what you need to understand, and the answer is yes. Will people really pay me for my crafts? If you do not feel confident people will really pay you for your crafts, you are not going to show up in the same light as someone that's like, actually, no, they won't. Because people that have the fear of someone not being able to pay them for their crafts is going to show up different. Lauren, would you not agree? I mean,
yes, so, and I feel like I go back to this quite a bit, but I know we have new people on all of these different lives. So one of the things that me personally I have dealt with is doing makeup, for example. At first I was like, you know what, I was not confident enough in my work, and I was not confident enough with my artistry, I guess you could say, with my skill. But then once I gained that confidence and I gained, you know, the ability to get over that wall in my head. That wall in your head is the biggest thing that you have to overcome. Once you get over that, you're going to have people coming to you left and right.
Yes.
Do not be afraid to post on social media every day, to market yourself, to put yourself out there.
I saw a comment just this week, and someone said, Tanner, inside our Design Make Sell program, which if you all are not in our Design Make Sell program, there will be an opportunity next week to learn more about that, which is incredible. But our friend said, Tanner, how much is too much before people think I'm annoying? And I think when we come from a place of, no, people are actually not going to pay me, no, I'm not good enough, then everything we do is a little annoying. And that is where the trouble kind of comes from. So I want you to be writing out, will people really pay me for my crafts? And if your answer is no right out of the gate, like your gut, I want you to start writing out why they should. How much have you invested? How much time have you invested? How much skill do you have? Because as we go through this, you're going to see you do have skill, you do have knowledge, and you do have know-how, and there is no way that you should not be able to monetize what you have been working on and developing. And just because you love what you do is not a good enough reason for me for you not to charge for it. So don't use that as an excuse today, my friend. I don't want to see it, all right? Question number 2 for should I really be able to sell is how will I know what will really sell? My friend, I get this time and time again, and the best answer I have for you today is how will you know what you will actually sell if you do not put yourself out there to find out? So inside our program, Design, Make, Sell, what you find is I explain a few different options you have if you are nervous about getting a supply of crafts or a supply like a catalog or any option. There are actually other options to where you only manufacture on demand, which means there is a transaction, you receive a deposit, then you start manufacturing something. You start making, you start doing your secret sauce inside of your crafting. And I think that's something that holds people back. How will I know what sells?
So one of the other things that I talked about on a live before is doing what we call in education, a needs assessment. Figure out what in your area is selling the best. So maybe sublimation in your area, it's just not caught on.
Right.
So you might think, or you may do a needs assessment and you may have enough people that are like, yeah, I don't think I would buy that. Or people that would say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that existed. So here you are breaking into a market that's not been broken into.
Yes.
Or maybe you have a lot of people that are wanting shirts and you're like, okay, I don't want to sublimate, but these people, I'm really good at layering HTV. Or I'm really good at coming up with designs for shirts.
And on a realistic like bringing that to life, what I would do, and I've seen some of our Design, Make, Sell students do this. I've seen people just put themselves out there a little bit. It could be as simple, your needs assessment could be as simple as posting a craft that you feel really confident in selling and be like, hey, I made one of these, I'm taking orders. Would anyone like to order one of these? That is the simplest post you could do.
One example is I posted an embroidery thing that I made for my best friend's little girl. It had her name on it, floral designs. I just posted it because I was proud of it, and I posted it on like my Instagram and maybe Facebook stories. There were so many people that
Lauren,
messaged me.
You do that? Can you do that for me? I need that for my sister's daughter's having a birthday. Can you do that for her?
How much do you charge?
Yes.
There was one girl that was like, well, because I didn't want to do it. I was like, $75. Absolutely.
There you go.
I was like, all right then.
And see, if Lauren showed up and was coming from a scarcity perspective, Lauren would probably drop that price down because she would be afraid that they wouldn't say yes. So notice when Lauren showed up and said, well, I really don't want to do that. What I call that is the convenience tax. So you're paying for me to make time for you, and that's not a negative thing. We talk about that inside of our program, Design, Make, Sell, about establishing an hourly rate that motivates you. For Lauren to do that work, it was $75 to motivate her to have time for it, because we have to remember we only have capacity for so much. And when you have a family, when you have maybe a job, and you have other outside responsibilities, how much can you take on?
Yeah, and that was the thing is I didn't want to take on all of that extra work. Now, if I could have.
Of course.
And I could have said, yeah, I could have done, if I really wanted to get my name out there.
And you get a lot of orders.
And get a lot of orders at one time, you can lower your prices. But once again, I'm going to go back to the makeup because Tanner was on me a couple weeks ago.
We did a one-on-one.
We had a one-on-one, and I was underselling myself and my skill. And because I was underselling myself, I got to the point to where I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And I've quit for the time being because I have not been charging enough, and it's not been enough that's been worth my time.
Y'all, I don't want to call Lauren out, but we pretty much had to sit Lauren down and tell her that she was losing money.
Yeah.
I mean, the time, the special day that, you know, the weekends and things like that, that gets like a double tax. And then like Lauren, sorry to call you out.
No, that's fine.
I really, you need to charge for your travel time, your gas. I mean, gas is expensive. To fill up my car is very expensive right now, as anyone's is. So you have to add those in, and you have to acknowledge that. So how will I know what will really sell? Is putting yourself out there and seeing what happens, because as you can see, you can adapt. This is not a, here's my price for the next 5 years, this is where we're at. No, as you can see from this conversation, you have the ability to pivot, you have the ability to change your price, and your business is growing. But how are you going to know what works and what does not? You have to put yourself out there. So I hope you're taking some notes, because I feel like this conversation is so good for a lot of us to understand. Do I really, you know, can I really sell? The answer is yes. There's so many people, there's so many ways you can show up and build an amazing customer base. So, someone's quoted, establish an hourly rate that motivates you. Yes, write that down if you haven't already. It is incredible. I truly believe in that. And I want you guys to believe in it too. And if you're still having doubt, what I want to encourage you to do, sign up for the free training, because the free training kind of breaks down all 5 secrets to get you moving in the right direction even more. So next question, where should I sell my projects? A lot of people get through the, okay, I understand people pay me for my crafts. Okay, I know I have to put myself out there. This is the one that gets them tripped up next. Where should I sell my projects? As Lauren was talking about the needs assessment, I just want you all to get a quick win under your belt so you believe what we're saying. If it's as simple as posting a craft project that you love right now that you've made for yourself, it could be a doormat, a sublimation t-shirt, a vinyl t-shirt, a decal,
Cups.
a cup. Oh my gosh, the end of school year is coming up, but all of the epoxy pins are like such an easy win, I feel like, for teachers. Who doesn't want it to say their teacher's name? Anywho, what I want you to do is to just put yourself out there. As simple as a Facebook post, as simple as an Instagram post, Instagram story. Those expire in 24 hours, so you may feel like less stressed about it. But that's the secret. Where should I post my projects? Wherever your potential customers are. Is it on Etsy? Are you wanting them to bring you leads? We can talk about that on the webinar. Is it local community? Do you want to build up a local base of customers? For me, I want you to get your name out there locally first. And if you're working with local customers, I like to work with local customers who are going to give you more than one shirt order, meaning 5 shirts, 10 shirts, 20 shirts, school teams, like anything like that, that's going to scale you up. And that's what I kind of talk about a lot on my If I Had to Start Over Today video, which if you haven't watched, such a great video. I love what you all are saying about it. It's incredible, and it's super, super exciting. So now you know, yes, people will pay. Yes, I'm gonna have to put myself out there to find out what works for me. And third, I just need to put myself out there, and that could be on the marketplace, on Facebook. That could be as simple as some social posts, or as I grow, I'll start an Etsy shop and start selling outside of my, local area. But we need to, focus on what we do have going for us, which could be our local established connections of people who already love you.
Yes.
Michelle says, so far, mine have just been me posting my crafts on Facebook that I'm proud of, very similar to Lauren's story. And then people just started asking how much.
Yes.
That's where it gets tricky, my friends. So let's continue on. So number one, I want to establish that you must have confidence in what you're talking about and, sharing for you to actually put yourself out there. Like, for you to actually like the crafts you're making is a big part of this. So if you feel confident in this, already putting yourself out there, now let's talk about the price. So notice we have Michelle says that she posted a craft that she's proud of. Lauren even shared a craft that she's proud of. But then you have to establish that you're proud of yourself and your effort, which will justify your price. Like, this is a secret pie that if you don't have all three pieces, you're not going to have that perfect pie. Some people love their crafts and love what they do, but they don't see the effort that it takes, so they don't charge for it. So this is what we want you to talk about, is to believe in your pricing, and we talk about that a lot. So the confidence in all three of those is what's most important, okay? Next, how to make quick cash. This is where it gets good, because we want you to, again, make sure you have those quick wins. So I want to make sure you all understand exactly how to do this. And for anyone like Michelle who has put themselves out there, people is asking how much, pick what your gut tells you to at that time, because as you do more orders, you're going to learn and establish it may be a little more expensive, but you're getting that experience, which I could argue is priceless. So we love that. How to make quick cash. Whoops. First, develop your why. Why are you doing this? Notice early on in the show, I shared there's 3 people that work really well in our formula, right? Number 1, someone that wants to be able to just pay for their crafts. I love those people. Like, guilt-free shopping is always my favorite. Number 2, someone that wants a side hustle. Maybe it's bringing in $500 a month. Simple, easy. Or 3, supplementing retirement or replacing their income. The reason why I want you to understand the end goal is because the sooner you develop that end goal, it's going to help you build your prices out. For example, let me whip out my phone. If your goal is to make $500 a month and you need to charge a certain amount to hit that with your numbers. If you're charging $25 per project, that means you need to make 20 projects per month. 20 is a very manageable number as you grow and as you scale up. That could be one order of a bunch of shirts. But here's the deal. When you say I want to make $500 a month, for some reason, oh, Business English just commented, 500 seems a lot. I agree until you break it down, because we're not going to take $5 orders. We're not going to say yes to $10 orders. You could say, now that you know your why could be, I'm not saying yes to anything lower than $15 to $20 because I know that my goal is $500 a month. Does that make sense? Is that hitting home to everyone? Like, we want to understand why we're doing this at all so we can move forward. This is very doable. Yes, Sue, I love it. Michelle says, I'm looking for a side income. I'm fortunate that I'm a stay-at-home wife. I love that, Michelle. Yay. Will you talk about price breakdowns with supplies and using them per project on the webinar? I get math, but working out vinyl per inch or the best to figure it out. So April, we talk very in depth about supplies and material breakdowns inside our program, Design Make Sell, and you'll learn more about that at the webinar. There's 5 secrets that I promise you will help you level up your selling, but that is not one that we are truly, talking about to the specific, but there's a lot more to learn and be able to focus in on. So once you've established your why, you want to write that roadmap. So if you're wanting to make $500 a month, this is what I'm talking about. Put it down on paper saying, hey, here's what I need to do. I'm only saying yes to a certain amount of projects, and I can only accept $15 at the least amount. Does that make sense? So you know your framework. It's an easy yes or no when someone comes to you. Because Lauren, I don't know if this has happened to you. Once you start putting yourself out there, people are just going to come to you with off-the-wall requests.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
And they can get overwhelming and not serving your why. So that's why before we put ourselves out there and before we start running with this. We know why we're doing this. We understand our limitations, and we are going to go ahead and lean in and start. Because now when someone comes to you and says, hey, Tanner, can you build me a wooden sign for my wedding? I'd be like, well, yeah, I could, but is it go fit in for my roadmap?
So one thing that I want, and I've already told Phaedra
Oh.
this, she made a comment earlier that I absolutely loved, and you're gonna get off-the-wall requests, not from just random people, but from people that you know, that are close to you. And as a business owner, she said, let me find it exactly, because do not depend on your, well, it said do not depend on friends and family to be your only major customer base.
Please don't. Yeah.
And then she also said, me and Carol have already decided she needs to be a motivational speaker too. She said that she'd been an entrepreneur since she was in high school. She sold candy, and she'd tell her friends, I'm not trying to make friends, I'm trying to make money. I already have friends. Amen.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And even if it is friends and family, and you have people coming to you, don't underprice yourself.
Yes, but the main point here is if you want to make quick cash, lean in and start, because you've developed your why, you've got that roadmap, and you're going to be able to get ready to start. And when people come to you asking crazy things, you're going to be able to know, is it right or not? Now, the next part here that no one is going to tell you if you really want to see success in your business, can we see the slides? Perfect. Is the consistency. Now, we're not saying this is going to be an overnight success. What may happen, and what I see a lot, is the momentum creeps in when you first post and when you first put yourself out there, and you kind of expect people to just always know, Well, I posted in February that I make shirts. I don't know why no one ordered any this month.
Once again, it's part of putting yourself out there. Even if you think you're being annoying, keep being annoying if you think that way. I promise you, as someone who is on social media, I'm assuming most of you all are too.
Yeah.
A lot of times I just click through those stories and my mind doesn't think, oh, she's being annoying. Yeah. I just click on through.
Or even the algorithm. Let's talk about the algorithm. It's not 2009 anymore. I sure wish it was on Facebook. In 2009, I saw every post. Does anyone remember scrolling through their friends and getting back to like when they last left Facebook? Like, am I the only one in 2010?
Oh, no, I miss that. I miss seeing, okay, well, I've seen all of this. I'm back to when I first opened up the app.
Yeah, like, okay, I haven't been on since last night. Here's everything posted since then. Does anyone remember that? That is not social media today. It is based on algorithms. It is based on a bot telling us what I think I want to see. So, posting more and being consistent is even more important to get seen by a small percentage of people. We post on here on the YouTube channel almost daily. We post on Instagram multiple times a day. Our Facebook group has so many posts. We send out so many emails, but it's a pie. Every piece comes together. It's a puzzle, whichever one you prefer, and it's really incredible. So the consistency. If you are ready to sell, I want you to get ready to understand it's not a one day putting yourself out there. It's a showing up every day. What if I told you you could make $100 a day with your Cricut? Do you believe it? Do you feel like you actually could do it? In today's video, I want to break down exactly the steps I would take if I was going to be able to start making and selling items to profit $100 a day. In this video, I'm going to give you every tip and trick that I know to help you have the right mindset, the right thought process, and give you some practical steps to go and implement to help you get on the right track to start making $100 a day. I know that a lot of you want to make money with your Cricut machine, and what that will do for you is going to be big. I have friends in this industry that make way more than $100 a day selling their crafts, and I have friends that make a lot less than $100 a day selling their crafts. The difference is being able to know these few steps. And let's go ahead and dive into the steps that it takes to make $100 a day selling your crafts. Step number one is you must know your numbers. And I'm going to add a caveat here because I don't want you to overthink it. So what I mean by knowing your numbers is knowing the rough estimate and a good range of what your expenses are to physically make a project. What I don't want you to do is to add up every cost of an inch of tape, right? That's not gonna be productive for you if it's under, let's say, 50 cents or below. If the cost is 50 cents or below, just say it's 50 cents, right? We wanna be able to add up these numbers and have something that is going to favor you in this process. So this is the number one step. And for some reason, I think since this is most of our hobbies, we find it very challenging to simply know our numbers when it comes to our expenses. So what I want you to do is add up the cost of your blank, the cost of your material, and know exactly the cost for you to make whatever it is you're selling. Let's use t-shirts for an example. If you're going to make 20 t-shirts for Makers Gonna Learn and you're going to put our logo right here, you're going to know that for each shirt, it's going to take 3x3 or 4x4 piece of vinyl to add the decal onto the shirt, right? So you could easily multiply that and find the true cost of your vinyl for the project. Then you could add in the t-shirt cost. You guys know I love the $6 t-shirts from Target. I wear them every single day and they work great for me. So I love those. You can find whatever t-shirt you prefer. Whatever that is, you need to know the everyday cost for that t-shirt. If you find it on sale, guess what? That's a treat yourself moment. You just need to know the actual everyday cost of your material no matter what, because you need consistency in your business. So then you would add in your heat transfer vinyl cost and your t-shirt cost per shirt to come up with whatever cost it may be. Let's say it cost $6 for the shirt and then $1 for the vinyl. So then you know your costs are $7. What I really want you to know is that you just need to know these numbers. And again, for a lot of us in a hobby business, this one step is the one thing that people forget about, and they just say whatever feels good or whatever price feels right to them because they don't want to be letting anyone down, and they get really uncomfortable talking about numbers. But what I want to let you know is your expenses, and knowing what that is, it will empower you to know your worth 10 times over. So that's step number one to getting to $100 a day. Do you want to know step number two is probably my favorite, and that is focusing on high profit margin projects. So here's the best part. Once you know your numbers, you're going to know how much it truly costs for all the projects you want to make. And people constantly tell me, Tanner, I want to make so many different projects. Well, guess what? When you follow this training and technique, you're going to go ahead and have to know all of those numbers, all of those everyday prices, and that's a lot of work. So this is why you want to find those 2 to 3, maybe 5 projects that you know are high profit margin projects. So you know your numbers. Now you're only going to focus on high profit margin projects. And the reason why is our goal is to get to $100 a day. And that, for a lot of you, could be life-changing. And there's no reason to work on projects that are going to take you a ton of time, but are not going to actually put money in your pocket, right? That's our goal here. We love crafting. We know that that's our way to make money. So we need to focus on how to get money in your pocket. And it's not by low margin projects. It's those high profit margin projects that will allow you to work less and make more in your craft business. When you're working to get to $100 a day, here's what I want you to know. Bulk orders are your friend. I had a customer and a student of mine post in our Facebook group saying, Tanner, holy cow, I made stickers this Saturday and I made $400. Here's what she did. She decided instead of working 4 or 5 days out of the week, she worked one Saturday and made well over $400. I mean, check it out right here. She spent her whole Saturday making stickers, and this is her payoff. So this is truly possible for you, just like our friend here that was able to do it. And how she did it was through bulk orders. Now, bulk orders at a lot of times can sound scary, but what I want to encourage you to think about is the less people and the less hassle you go through to get those higher ticket items, it's actually going to help you because you get to stay in your zone of genius, which I think for a lot of us here would say our zone of genius is actually the crafting portion rather than the selling, the marketing, and things like that. The beauty of being able to do bulk orders is you're working for fewer people and you're getting more output, which means higher profit and more money in your pocket. A lot of times I encourage people to give that bulk discount because it's going to save them time by going through and having to find more and more customers. So I really want you to think and start considering, what would it look like for you to do bulk orders? Some other ideas is partnering with churches. They always have different events going on that they need bulk shirts for. You could be that perfect person for them to sell shirts in bulk. 10, 15 shirts are totally doable because once you've done it one time, it's really easy to replicate. Another thing, and a few students of mine have actually done this, they have been able to work with schools. Schools are constantly wanting custom t-shirts and they don't want to have to do it themselves. If you offer sublimation t-shirts for 100 days of school and things like that, you are actually able to work with many different teachers and get quality orders. And the best part is they become repeat customers. This is a great way to get you to $100 a day really quickly, and you're not going to feel like you're constantly marketing the heck out of yourself. As we end out our time together, what I want you to know is it's all math. This is not something crazy. This is not something unreachable. If we've had multiple students be able to do this, if I've been able to do this in the past, you can do it too. So I want you to know that it's simply math equations. So if you truly are committed to getting to $100 a day, it's about sitting down and doing the math that's involved to figure out what your expenses are, figuring out what your high profit margin projects are, and going all in on those projects and getting multiple orders or focusing on bulk orders. Whichever one motivates you the most. I can make a whole video about the pros and the cons of bulk orders because there's quite a few. But I want you to sit here and think about and acknowledge it's just math. Figuring out how many orders you need to get there is going to be different for each person. I also always recommend to give yourself an hourly rate, and as you get better, as you get faster, you can actually raise that hourly rate because you're more of an expert. Do not forget to pay yourself in this entire process.